Good evening. Okay, so what if I told you that you could see real growth by focusing at least 80% or more on your own personal activity and personal business? That seems a lot less like intimidating than having to run other people's stuff, doesn't it? Well, it's true. And that's why most books that you're going to read in this journey, whether that's GoPro or Get Over Your Darn Self, any of the ones that are recommended right now, they're going to tell you you need to be focusing 80% of your time on your own personal activity and personal business. And that means a few simple things that we're going to talk about tonight that we like to call, that's 10, the high five. High five. Everyone give me a high five. Yay, good job, guys. Okay, so the high five that we actually showed you earlier today is going to be tweaked a tiny bit because my husband is awesome and he thinks really differently than I do. And even though change makes me crawl in my skin, he pushes me through those things. And he helped really simplify it even further based on what our team goals are today. So it's not that different. It's just simplified and the verbiage is a little different. Anyway, okay, so high five. This is something that you can do every single day in an hour or less, depending on how quick you want to get, depending on how much head trash you've gotten out of there, and you're just like going. You could totally get this done in 30 minutes. Bam, bam, bam. You can do it in 1 hour in one sitting, or you can break it up. Y'all, especially if you're a stay-at-home parent, sometimes you got to break that stuff up. You know what I mean? Like, we're not as good at scheduling our time. So it's like, oh, a nursing session. Okay, I'm going to do number 1 of my high five. Okay, somebody's reading the book quietly to themselves. Okay, here comes number 4. Do you know what I mean? You can find pockets of your day to do this. You don't have to have a whole lot of time. So we are going to first talk about why this is important. Why? So some things that I have learned in my journey of the last few years is that it's not necessarily about your level of influence. It's not necessarily about how many people you know or how many people care about health or whatever it is. The most important thing that you can do for yourself and for your business is to be visibly consistent. Okay. Consistency is really key. I would say in all of the ups and downs of my journey and how many people have joined me and how many people have not stuck with me, how I've been able to get where I'm at today is by being consistent and not quitting. Okay. I heard Tamara Holloway have all of these calls. I would jump on her team calls every Sunday night, even before I was working the business. Because I was just like, who are these crazy cool people? And every single time they would say, if you don't quit, you will make it to the top. And y'all, not quitting doesn't just mean like getting your $34.95 and your products back. Like, that means like not giving up and continuing to press forward and work toward your goals, because Miss Rachel Hollis says, ain't nobody going to care about your dreams and your goals as much as you are, right? So that is freeing, y'all. You don't have to depend on someone below you to help you get there necessarily. You don't have to depend on your sponsor. Maybe that's me. Don't depend on me. I'm going to let you down, right? You've got to have that constitution in yourself. So consistency. Why? There is something I like to call retain and recruit. It's really the 2 main keys in our business: retain and recruit. You can't have one without the other and intend to grow, okay? So let's talk about both of those things. In recruiting, your personal recruiting, we love to say, like, you want to go silver first. That's getting 3 people, but then you want to continue to go silver yourself every month. We call that getting your ALA. For those of you new to the team, you will see that being posted every month. Congratulations, so-and-so got their ALA. That is the Active Leader Achiever Award. So once you go silver, you get your bonus. Like, that's a celebrated rank, right? Well, we want to keep going personally. Again, 80% of our focus needs to be on our personal business. So that means continuing to personally recruit. So it should be all of our goals to at least add 3 new ambassadors to our team every month. That means you're going to be getting celebrated for getting your ALA, your Active Leader Achiever Award. There is also a 60 to 90 day rule in prospecting. So why else is it important to be consistent? Because in your consistency in reaching out and following up and posting, those things we're going to talk about tonight, you are going to be seeing people jumping off of their fences and seeing walls coming down at different times throughout people's journey. And there's a 60 to 90 day rule. So what you do today, what you do tomorrow is going to affect your business for 60 days out, 60 to 90 days out. So those people you reach out to, or that post that someone sees today, they may not jump on, they may not reach out to you, they may not answer you, they may cricket you and ghost you for months, they may watch you for months, and they may jump off the fence 60 to 90 days from now, sometimes 6 months from now, sometimes a year from now. You guys, it's like a waterfall effect. That's what your consistency can do for your business. And if anything else, activity cures everything. I know the times where I'm struggling the most, like with motivation or like, well, nothing's happening in my business. Well, guess what? We create that. We create conversations. We create people responding to us by starting conversations and by making posts that people can respond to. So remember that activity cures everything. If you're dealing with mindset or head trash or like, I'm not sure where my motivation is, get in activity. Get into this high five. And remember, this is your safe zone. This is every day. And that will create the momentum you're looking for in order to help you be motivated. Action first, motivation comes by seeing success of action, okay? Okay, another thing too, some of you have been around for a long time. Maybe some of you have been through ups and downs in your journey, maybe been through a life crisis, who knows what. And maybe your team looks a little different right now than you thought it would. The best thing you can do for yourself is to have new blood and new excitement on your team. Having someone drink the pink drink for the very first time and feel the results that you had people feeling months ago or years ago, like whatever that is, like that is going to be the best thing for you. So again, this is all things you can do personally to forward your business and create that different mindset for yourself. And let's talk a little bit about the other R. So that was our recruiting. Let's talk about retaining. We can recruit everyone we want to in the world. You might be the rock star recruiter like Miss Kimberly. You guys, we'll talk about her numbers a little bit later when Brandon gives some stuff. Homegirl recruits like 12 to 15 people a month herself, okay? But yes, honey. But what you will see her in these threads asking all these questions and stuff because she's also understanding that retaining them is just as important as recruiting them. So we have to be checking on people. You guys, we do not get paid like to just do one-time sales. This is not a makeup business, okay? We're not out there to sell someone lipstick and then be like, I hope you like it. Okay, you look fabulous. That's not the deal. We continue to get paid when people are loving their products and when they're seeing results and when we're loving them through hard times. Can everyone wave at Megan MJ up there? Hey, Megan. She did not see great results for 9 months. Can we just all give her a round of applause for sticking it the heck out? I know it just sounds like me clapping for you, but they're all clapping too. Y'all, that's what good follow-up does. Like Jessie was in it with her. She was telling her, I know that this sucks right now. Like I know this is hard, but I promise you that like everything within me knows there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Like we have to push through this, okay? That is retention. That is making sure that people have not wasted their money after joining. That is making sure that they understand the power of what is in their hands. It may not happen in 30 days. It may not happen in 60 days. It might take 90 days for them to fall in love with these products. But part of our job is to keep them and like hug them in our community so that they don't give up. They're not giving up on you. They're giving up on themselves, okay? So you have to, don't worry about that. They're not quitting on you. They're not like giving up on you. We have to help people have hope and not quit on themselves because it's their future. It's their body. It's them feeling like junk, right? And we want to love them to the other side of that. So retain and recruit. So Dylan is my corporate coach and he may pop on our team page from time to time because he's just super fun and sweet and very energetic. And he's like, I would love to talk to your team. So he may do that from time to time. And if you see him, that's who he is. But he gave us our 30, 60, and 90-day retention rates for the last few months. And you guys, it is a change of season. It was back to school. So I'm not worried about it. And look at all these awesome things that are happening in our team right now. So but y'all, retention is important, okay? We signed 110 people in July, and only 60% of them ordered again in August. That means 40% of people did not have a second order, which means they are basing their results and basing if these products work on 30 days or less on one order. And so that's what's hard is it's not like, oh no, we're not going to get paid on them, which is true. But at the same time, like that's 40% of that, which is almost 45 people or so that could possibly be thinking if we don't catch them and we don't say, hey, let's make sure your next order comes in. Let's make sure, let's make sure we get you back on track with your dosage. We need to stick this out. That's 45 people that may be out there in your circles of influence that are saying, yeah, I tried it, didn't really work. And they didn't even try it for more than 30 days. You know what I mean? So there are so many reasons why retention is good. It's good for our business. It's good for the people that we're signing up. We work really hard to build value in our products, and we want to make sure that they understand it's going to take a little longer than one order. So subscriptions are a must, okay? 80% of people are not going to order a second time if a subscription is not on. So we want to keep growing instead of spinning our wheels, right? As a leader, seeing your numbers, like it hurts my heart just as much as it probably sucks for any of you, like to see you like doing well in your business, yet not really moving forward as fast as you'd like to. Well, retention is a big part of that, okay? And it keeps people from falling through the cracks. Raise your hand if you're like me and you are kind of like a visual person, or if you struggle a little bit with like out of sight, out of mind, I can't think about too many things at once. That is totally me. And so I have to have things written down. And that's why some of these processes we have created, because they're super helpful for me. And I have to get better and better and better at them, because I don't want people falling through the cracks, you guys. There have been months in my business where I signed 12 people. It was just the one time, but I did that once. And it's really easy to forget all 12 of those people 2 months down the road when you're working on signing up new people, okay? So here's what we don't want to happen. We don't want our friends to think that we were in it for a one-time sale and that we got them and then they're not important anymore. Like that hurts my heart, and I know every one of your hearts, and that hurts your heart too. We don't want that. We feel like, I think in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, well, they added to the team page and they know what they're doing, and that's kind of what we think. But they need that personal touch because they're not as connected as we are. And so retention is important. So I know the majority of this call, we're supposed to be talking about the high five, but that's the why behind the consistency. That's the why behind the high five. And what we're going to talk about tonight is because we really want to make sure we've got both sides of the coin in order to go forward. We want to retain people, but we also need to keep recruiting people, okay? So let's break it down. There are 5 things. 1, sending messages, okay? Previously, this said, reach out or cold messages. Brandon, he is on here somewhere. There you go. He helped me today by really simplifying the explanations of these and what they are. So like title, we're not going to have I know MJ was like, do you mean like follow up, or is this creating a conversation? You are not the first person to ask that. So we have stripped it down even further to make sure there's no question in your mind. And when you see this list, you're like, I know exactly what I need to do and I can do it quickly and get it off of my shoulders, off of my plate, to make sure that I'm doing my high five every day. So number 1 is sending messages. So few people, you guys, are ever going to come to you in this journey. I have had a lot of people come to me, but the majority of the people that I've signed or that have started on the products are because I reached out to them or I initiated conversation with them. You think about personality traits. There are very few people who are struggling with a health issue or maybe financial issue that are bold enough to reach out to someone that's an acquaintance. Like most of the time, these are not people that are joining our team. They're not super close to us, It's people we knew from high school or college or from a job we used to have. And so just understand that cold messaging is not trying to bombard people or bug people. We are legitimately having to start conversations that other people aren't bold enough to start. We know we have something that they need and that can bless them. We are offering to start a conversation of opportunity that they can decide to say yes to, okay? So that's what I want you to think about messaging. So sending messages. A very realistic rate of response is 1 in 10 messages. So when you're sending messages, don't feel like, oh my gosh, I sent 3 messages and no one has responded to me. That is so normal. That is okay. A lot of people don't use Facebook Messenger. Maybe they're not even checking for like 3 or 4 days, and then, or like me, it gets piled down and then they forget to read it or they're doing something else. So there are so many reasons behind not responding, but just know that about 1 in 10 in a response is okay. So if you're thinking sending messages, I would say 5 a day should be minimum if you're trying to grow your business, even slow grow. because of that response rate. 5 a day minimum would be optimal. If you've really got goals, if you want to be in Maui next year, you're looking at maybe 10 to 15 minimum messages a day. That would be part of your high five, I would say, would be really good. And don't prejudge people, you guys. You never know what people are going through. Again, we're offering an opportunity for them to say yes to something that we may not know that they need. We may not know. People suffer in silence with things like Hashimoto's and thyroid issues and migraines. You don't know what people are walking through. You never know. So don't prejudge people. Just send the message. Number 2 of your high five, and there is an updated list that I just uploaded on our page. So if you're thinking like, oh no, now I have to find all these new names, I just uploaded a new form and a new list. Number 2, post on social media. Something else that Brandon helped us do today is to prioritize this. So let's say you're super busy and you're working your way down the high five and you fall asleep with your babies in bed or watching TV or something. The things at the top of the list are the most important to your business building, and then they're all important to do every day, but we've kind of ranked them priority-wise. So number 2, post on social media. This is something that some people have to grow because a lot of people don't necessarily post on social media every day, even just about normal things. But what posting does is it builds credibility. It educates, it allows people to see the testimony and why you even care. So when you're reaching out to them in a message, they're like, yeah, well, I've seen you posting about it, or yeah, I did see you post about that. It just really builds credibility, and it can help educate people that this is not just some crazy weight loss thing, or that it's important to you because it's done something for you. So posting every day on social media is so important. But here's the kicker. You can't just be posting about plexus all day long, okay? You do have to have a good balance of personal posts, adding value to other people, whether Joni, is she on here still? I know she said her internet was cray-cray. Y'all, if you do not follow Joni Chardine, she is hysterical. Y'all, we have like our husbands and their friends following her just because of her memes. She is the meme queen and builds so much value and laughter into people's lives by what she posts on Facebook. Has nothing to do with plexus in those moments, and has nothing to do really with her kids or anything. It's just her personality, and it's hilarious. So be you. Your friends follow you because it's you. So find something that's interesting to you, or that a circle. You may be a very inspirational person. Maybe your devotionals are super speaking to you and you want to share that, and that can speak to someone else. Like whatever your thing is, just be you. Share things about your family, or if you're in school, share things about school. If you love your dog, share things about your dog. Let your friends connect to you because that's why they're on Facebook, right? But then at least one post a day, 50% or under of your posts, but at least one post a day needs to be some sort of journey update from you, a testimony, or education about gut health or something that you're learning. Let people learn alongside you. Let them understand that what you have is just different, and they may not understand how valuable it is and that it could do something huge for them. As far as posting and what to post, because I know sometimes people are just like, I just have no idea what to post. Obviously, we want you to be yourself, but we also want you to know that you're not alone. We are a team of people helping each other, and so follow some of the faces. Write down names that you see here. If you see people commenting on our team page, follow and friend those people, because we are all invested in this. And that means you got a lot of people posting a lot of great stuff that you can steal and tweak. Okay, so copy and paste things. We want each other to be successful. We want to support each other. So if you see, let's say Josie made an amazing post yesterday, which she probably did because she's a great poster. Let's say Josie did, and Kim is like, oh my gosh, I'm just running all over the place. I have no idea what to post today. She goes on Josie's wall and she's like, oh my gosh, that's so good. She's going to comment and be like, yes, me too, girl. Oh my goodness, plexus has saved my life. And then she's going to copy and paste that little sucker and tweak it just a little bit. Make it sound like you, okay? Make it sound like you, so it doesn't, like, if you don't use verbiage like, girl, please, then obviously don't copy and paste that, because your friends are going to be like, what is that? Who are you? But that is totally what we do. That is just like the awesomeness of this company. That's company wide. So even if you're following people that aren't on our team, nobody's going to be mad that you're copying their stuff. We want everyone to succeed because this is a real opportunity that we're not having to be cutthroat about. We know there's a big enough piece of the pie for every single person, and we want them all to succeed. So copy and paste those suckers. change the picture. Don't post Josie's kids. Like, you find a picture of your own family or a situation and post that with it. Okay, and then another part of social media, so posting on social media is number 2. Another part of that, we just kind of wrapped in that expanding your network. You guys, being intentional about meeting people in person is one thing, but on social media, it is so simple to expand your network. All you got to do is go on your newsfeed and say, suggested friends, add friend, add friend, add friend, add friend, okay? If you want to get strategic about it, if you're like weird about having strangers accidentally pop in there, or like don't want just a bunch of random Plexus people or something, go to your husband's Facebook, or go to your mother-in-law or your sister-in-law and go to their friends, and you know that you have so many acquaintances that you've got with some different people in your circle that you may not have as friends yet. So go find those people. That's not weird that you're going to friend request them, especially if you know them. And it is social media. It's not stalker media. So let's go be social, right? Okay, number 3, follow up with prospects. Okay, so it's not just ambiguous follow-up. This is following up with prospective people. This is a huge part, you guys. Fortune is in the follow-up. There is a statistic, and I'm so glad I said that right the first time. There's now I can't say it, statistic that says 80% of sales, it was 80 to 90% of sales happen between the 5th to 12th contact. And do you want to know how many sales representatives ever make it that far? Like hardly any, because they're one and done salespeople. They really don't care about who buys their products. They care that somebody buys their product, right? Well, we care about the who. If we're going to tell you that we care about you and we want you to feel better, how's that going to feel if you only ever reach out to them one time? Right? So if we care about that person, we're going to touch back base. Hey girl, I saw that cute picture of your little girl. Her back to school outfit was so precious. Where'd you get that? Don't disappear from their lives just because they are cricketing you. You love them as a person. We want this for people. We don't need it from you. There's 8 billion people on the planet. Like, you have migraines. I can help you. Let's have this conversation. Let's do this. You know what I mean? Like, love on them 5 to 12 times at least. Love on them. And so follow-up can look like inviting them to Real People, Real Stories event. It could look like, hey, we're running a special right now. I know we talked last month and you weren't really sure about it, but I just thought I'd reach out and let you know that it's, 10% off right now, and it would be an amazing time to try. Or we're having a 7-day trial coming up. I know that, you weren't super keen on just starting gung-ho on a whole bag of Slim, but what about 7 sticks? You know what I mean? Like, those are some real follow-ups that are going to be happening every month, because we have 2 Real People, Real Stories each month, and we're going to have a 7-day trial every month. Restarting conversations is basically what you want to do, especially if someone had said previously that they wanted to sign up. You're going to have that happen. Someone's going to say, yes, talk to me on Thursday. And then guess what? They're not going to talk to you on Thursday. And you're going to say on Thursday, hey, I'm so sorry we couldn't catch up today. What's a better time? I've got tomorrow at 8 or, Saturday morning at 10:30. Which works better for you? Sometimes they're not going to pick a time and they're going to be like, cricket, cricket, cricket. But guess what? It's okay. That's not on us. We know that we have something that will help them. So we're just going to continue to provide opportunities for someone to say yes when they're ready, right? That's what following up is. That's all it is that we're caring enough about the person, not just about the sale. Good job, Laura. She said she had it legit happen today with the follow-up. It's going to happen. And then y'all immediately respond, especially as you're growing your business. It's exciting when someone is interested. Do not allow yourself to be trapped in that hesitation and fear. Respond immediately, as immediately as possible when someone is interested. And even if you can't have that conversation right then, just be like, girl, I'm so excited that you're excited about this, or that you want more information. This has done so much for my family. Look, I'm going to be free to have a chat later tonight after I get off work. Does 5:30 or 7:30 work better for you? And we can either chat on here or we can hop on the phone. And they're going to be like, oh, wow, that was so nice of her to respond and she didn't even really have time. You know what I mean? Like, you're in control of your schedule. You don't have to be on your phone all the time, but let those people know that you're excited for them, so they're excited to talk to you when the cool has worn off and they're not as impulsive, right? Okay. So is that making sense, the following up with prospects, like how different that is from like what's next on our list, which is dosage check-ins. with people that are currently on the products on your team, okay? So following up as prospects, dosage check-ins are gonna be people that are on the products currently. And this is where that retention piece comes back in, the 30, 60, and 90 days. You guys, we cannot let people just willy-nilly take their products. They're gonna take everything wrong or they're gonna take nothing. And that is preaching to myself, because during this entire turnover and like excitement about our team pages, and then I went to Jewel training, guess who has not been checking in on her people super well? And guess who had somebody say, hey, how do you turn off that subscription? Me. Guess who was able to save it? Whew, thank you. But she was not checked in well. She hasn't been taking Slim since the first day. She has a whole extra bag, okay? Y'all, that is my fault. That's not her fault. That's my fault, okay? And we're not talking about blame, and I don't need you to feel guilty, but I'm just telling you, that's why the high five is important. It's not just about more and more people and growing your business. It's about, hey, I've been talking to that girl for over a year. She finally joined my team, and I didn't even stinking check in on her. And here she is. I finally got her, and she's going to turn her subscription off after 60 days because she hasn't been drinking her pink drink at all. So that conversation went well, and she's going to give it another 30 days. Please, Lord. Let's hope that we can get her to like the pink drink, right? It's not about the taste. You just got to take it for the benefits, but some people are weird about the taste. Anyway, okay, dosage check-ins for at least the first 90 days. So Brandon is going to talk to you about something that he kind of thought up today that really took time to make sense to me because of how my brain works, but he's going to explain it way better than I am. And that's about how we're going to check on 3 people a day. Someone you signed up within the last 30 days, someone you signed up within the last 60 days, and someone you signed up within the last 90 days. That's it, 3 people. And you may not have even so many that you can do that every day, but for Kimberly, Brandon's going to use Kimberly's numbers because she's got the worst case scenario of all of us as far as check-ins, because homegirl signing up what a senior gold team would by herself, okay? So let's let Brandon chat. You can unmute yourself, babe.
Yeah. So my main, can everybody hear me? Okay. It's weird to see everybody does. My main concern for everyone was trying to keep this thing as simple as we possibly can. For newbies and for people who have been doing this a good while, I know that life is busy, so we're trying to get this as streamlined and as simple as possible so that we can not only do this ourselves, but pass this along to the next people who also want to do this. But my thought behind this was, okay, let's take the worst case scenario for someone. Worst case scenario for someone is hands down Kimberly, because she'd be signing people like it's her job, which it kind of is. And it's like, I think I'm just kind of, this isn't perfect, but I'm thinking in 1 month she hit 12, another month she hit 12, and then another month she hit 15. And so that's just stupid. But like we've got so for example, if you're looking at this, my concern was, okay, so she has all of these people that she's just signed. And so if anybody can do, if I can make it work for her, then anybody should be able to pull it off. That's kind of my thought behind it. But what I wanted to look at was, okay, so the biggest thing for us in retention is 30, 60, 90 days. And what happens is we follow up. A lot of times we'll follow up in that 30-day period, but then we'll kind of let them drop off after the 60-day, and then the 90-day is just a no-brainer. There's nobody following up, nobody, a lot of times. And so what I was hoping to achieve was to get one of those people every day as much as possible. So every day we're talking to a 90-day person, a 60-day person, and a 30-day person. So for me, now, is Mary Catherine on this call? She was. She would hate this because she's way more put together and organized than I am. But for the people who are not organized, like myself, take this or leave it. You can use this, or you can tweak it, or you cannot use it. What I would do is, on a sheet of paper, I would, let's say January was the month you started. I would write, and this is backwards. I would write January here, and then I'd write my names down of the people that I signed. Then I would do the same thing with February, the next month. And then I think March is next generally. And then, so then I would do March. It would be January, February, March. Again, writing people's names down. So for example, Josie's showing me what she's got. So I would literally write those down, February, write them down, March, write them down. And as I came across, so for example, when I got to February, I know January I'm following up with these people, hopefully probably once a week, once every 2 weeks at least. But February, it starts getting harder because now I got these people and I got these people. Okay, so now I'm going to match up name one and name one, February and January. On the day that I follow up, I'm going to follow up with the first person on this list and the first person on this list. Okay, obviously, and then I'm going to get to March. I'm going to follow up with 1, 1, and 1. Okay, on one day. That's all you have to focus on. Don't freak out. Don't do 270 people a day. Just focus on 30, 60, 90. Okay, then when you get to March, okay, now April comes along. Feel free to just take January and toss it aside. Now you've got an April sheet here, okay? Now we're following up with February, March, and April people. Now, I'm not telling you to throw these people away, but I'm telling you that 30, 60, 90 days are hands down the most important to your business, okay? So by all means, keep following up and talk to these people who are on your team and do all this. But if you want your business to grow, it has to be 30, 60, 90 is what the statistics say. I nailed it the first time too, but so 30, 60, 90. So we have to eventually, and you guys do it how you want to. I would literally do it like that. I'd have 3 pieces of paper. That's all I would do. But you can do a spreadsheet, you can do Excel, you can do a Word document, whatever works for you. If you're, Sally and I were talking about the mobile aspect of it would be probably just in notes. I would also do that probably as well. But literally, it's just matching them up, 1, 1, 1, and then the second one, boom, boom. And if they turn over, fine, no big deal. It doesn't have to be rocket science. The biggest thing is we're just trying to create streamline ease. So in number 4 of the Highfive, number 4 would be dosage check-in, and all you're doing is tapping into 3 people. A 30-day person, a 60-day person, a 90-day person. Again, don't make it rocket science. If you don't have a 60-day person or 90-day person, just keep following up until you get those 3 months in. But the main thing is we don't want to forget about those 90-day people. We don't want to forget about those 60-day people. The 30-day people are right on our mind. But yeah, so.
That's awesome. Yeah. So thank you for that, hun. So what does dosage check-ins look like? That's going to be like, hey girl, have you been able to create a good routine? That's a question I ask a lot. Hey, have you been able to get into a good rhythm with your stuff? Like, how's it going? Because that's really what we're looking for. Are you at least able to remember to take it consistently? So that's a question that I start out with a lot, especially in the beginning. A good rhythm, a good routine. And then, yes, Leslie says, ask specific questions. A lot of times people don't know what to look for as far as if things are working or not. Aaron and I were just working on this a little bit earlier. Sometimes people don't realize even why they started and how things have changed. And so you got to go back and say, okay, you were looking for your bloating to go away or your energy to go away. How are those specific things? Are you still napping every day? Or how's your bloating? Are your pants fitting a little better yet? And sometimes they're going to be like, you know what? I didn't even realize that. Yeah, I have been less bloated, or I haven't needed a nap the last week, or heck, I'm off all caffeine. And you're like, what? They weren't even excited about that. And this is our opportunity to show them how exciting the little things are. Because y'all, that's not little to somebody. To someone else, being able to come off Diet Coke is a huge stumbling block that they haven't been able to do for the last 10 years, right? And for them, that's like, well, I wanted to lose 50 pounds, but I'm off Diet Coke, and you're like, wait, no. That's huge. That is massive in your health right now. And that happened in your first 30 days. Are you kidding me? Way to go, girl. You know what I mean? Like, we have to be the excitement factor for them. And then what's also cool about that is We have so many wonderful posts on our team pages. We have our team chatter thread. If they come up with something, they're like, no, I don't feel a thing. And you're like, well, what do I do with this? There are about 15 to 20 people at the ready on the team chatter thread to be able to help you troubleshoot with that if you can't get in touch with your sponsor, or to be able to look at team page posts and saying, continue, keep going, or make sure you're drinking your water. Like, these are all kind of troubleshooting tips that we learn as we go, but there's so many people to help you with troubleshooting. So don't be afraid of checking in on people because you're not sure what you're going to say. You don't have to know. We will all be behind the curtain helping you to make sure that person is seeing the good results. And that's 7 habits of highly effective Plexus users, or whatever that is, if I said it wrong, that's in the welcome unit. So that is definitely something to be tagging people in, because it talks about time, it talks about consistency and taking it every day, it talks about water, it talks about moving, all of these things that people, this is not a quick fix, you got to kind of have all these factors in. So let's work on this kind of stuff together. How can we help? So dosage check-ins, super important. Tag them in helpful stuff, you know what I mean? And then we will talk in a second about tools. And so some of the things Brandon was talking about, we'll get to that in just a second. But the last thing for your high five, let me see a high five, wake up. High five. The last thing is shout outs and silver. And so we kind of combined 2 of the other ones so that we could add this one, because what is our mode of operation? Sign, subscribe, share, silver, right? That's our business essentials. That's our name. That's who we are. So we had to incorporate that into our high five. And that is because that's where the growth happens. It doesn't matter. Like MJ just started reading GoPro. GoPro is a great book. If you don't understand the power of network marketing, it's a super fast read, and it helps you understand that this is an amazing, amazing business profession, because it's not just about your knowledge or who you know or how big your circle is or how influential you are. This is about, one person who might know 2 people, who might know 1,500 people. Like, you just don't know. Like, that's the network, right? And so our shout outs are twofold. We want to help people be sustainable. A lot of people stop their products or take half dosages instead of full dosages when they start, because they're trying to save money and not order again. I did that, you guys. Guess what? I didn't see very many results when I was doing that. Go figure. Because I was taking half dosages of everything. And they'll do that because finances are actually a really big issue for most people, okay? Most people live paycheck to paycheck. Most people can't afford to budget in $115 a month, but it's that important to them. And so we need to help them see a little bit of cash back, right? So that's what this sharing and silver thing is all about. It's helping you tap into other networks to help more people to have a greater impact and grow your business, yes. But it's also helping those people who maybe don't really think that they want to start a business, who don't really think that they want to get involved in the sharing aspect of things. It's a very non-threatening way to start helping them see some cash back so that they can stay sustainable on their products. But you guys, once people start to see a little bit of cash in their pocket that they didn't have to do much to get, that's a big deal for people. You can't just walk down the street and like earn $50. And in Plexus, you can sign 2 people up and earn $50 by the next week, right? So that's a big deal. People don't realize how easy that is. I have people all the time that are just ordering their products and they're like, I got an email from Plexus saying that they're sending me money. Like, what is that? And I'm like, I told you that you would earn money on your own products. So did you think I was lying? Because I wasn't. So it is a big deal for a lot of people. So shout outs and silver. So initially when someone is first joining your team, we want to make sure that you are helping them by giving them a shout out post. And I posted this today on the Business Essentials page. It's under the unit of our essentials, the S's. It's the third S, share. That's going to be their shout out post. So we're going to send one new ambassador the initial shout out directions, which literally you just copy and paste and send them in a text. Sorry, I dropped my binder. Or let's say you didn't have another new person to do that, or you're going to help one happy product taker craft a journey update post. Because let's say Erin now has this girl who's come totally off of like caffeine, Cokes. That's a great post. A lot of people struggling to get off of Dr. Pepper, if you know what I mean. So that's amazing. We need to share that. I bet you have so many friends that are struggling to get off of Dr. Pepper. Then help, literally give her verbiage for a post. If you need help crafting a post, you know there's like 10 people in here that would help you do that. So give them the verbiage. They're not going to want to create something on their own most likely. So if you give them something to copy and paste, they're much more likely to do that. or ask for one of your current customers to share your story for referrals. That's another great source, y'all. We have a lot of happy preferred customers and maybe even some happy retail customers that have no interest in sharing for themselves or working in business or any of that stuff. Maybe don't even want any money from it, but they might want to help you, or you can say, I know there are probably people that you know that could really benefit from this. Why don't you share my story and just see if there's anybody that we could help together? So that's an option. And then something that I know falls through the cracks a lot for me that we added to this is to check on any existing three-way chats that have gone silent with some of the people that you've been doing shout out posts with. Because once we do a shout out post, we're getting into three-way chats telling people thank you, or if they need more information. And a lot of times those people aren't working the business, so they're not going to follow up with those people. So we need to remember to check back and say, okay, I was probably in a lot of three-way chats last month with this person. I need to go check and see if we can restart a couple of those. So that all falls under number 5, which is shout outs and silver. And I know this seems like a lot, but once you see the list, it's literally just 5 things. I just wanted to make sure and give you like a full scope of what you could do with that number based on what you've got going on in your business. So tools. We just updated the Highfive worksheet. So those of you who are super on top of things today and already printed yours out, feel free to use that one. It's totally fine. It's basically the same thing. We just reordered and restructured stuff so that it makes sense with what we talked about tonight. So that Highfive worksheet, if you don't know how to find the files in our team page, you'll go to the top and it says about, discussion, photos, albums. There's one that says files, and then there's one that says units too. That's kind of where you'll find those. We'll talk about those things a lot. But in the file section, there is a new Highfive worksheet. And it's got the list of everything I just listed off. I literally wrote it verbatim in the text there above the file. So you can copy paste that and put it in your notes just in case like you want to refer back to that or anything. The new ambassador checklist is also kind of like the bonus, like do your Highfive and then also update your new ambassador checklist. You guys, I know it might seem redundant because we're writing people's names down, or we're tracking this over here, or we're using this worksheet. But that new ambassador checklist is something that I keep on the front of everything. It is kind of like my business at a glance. If anything, I'm looking at that saying, okay, oh man, I totally have not followed up or checked off that I followed up with like 8 of these people. Had I been looking at my new ambassador checklist, I probably would have realized that Yolanda was getting left out in the dust, right? So that's a really good place to have it all because it asks, is their subscription on? Did you ask them to do a shout out? Did you welcome them on the team page? All of these things to make sure we are not having to be like remembering all of this stuff. It's literally all right there. And to help them go silver if they want to. So print out that new ambassador checklist and just write down who you've added this year or the last few months so that you can start that checklist with those people. A planner or a calendar, you guys. So Rosalind Payne is one of, and I know I'm going really long. Rosalind Payne is one of the girls she's a woman. She was one of our jewel trainers when I went to Arizona last week, and she pulled out her like $3 calendar from Walgreens that she uses for all of her scheduling, for all of her check-ins and all of her appointments. Like she opened up a page and it just was a blank calendar, like nothing fancy at all. A grid calendar, and she just had names in pencil and everywhere. And she said, for that day, I know exactly who I'm checking on. I know exactly who I'm following up with because she's using that to say, okay, that person, she pulls out her calendar and they said they can talk on Friday. She's writing their name on Friday. So if you're that kind of tangible person, that's fine. Do that. We want to help you find what works for you to stay organized. There's no right or wrong thing. And then like Brandon said, those 30, 60, and 90 days, at least. Maybe these other sheets or that's just too much. But if you're going to sign people, at least just don't lose track of who you're signing. So have a sticky note maybe. If you've got a wall where you sit or you are doing most of your IPA or texting while you're at breakfast, put some sticky notes on the wall, 30, 60, 90, or, the names of the months and who you've got written on those so you can kind of piece them around and be like, okay, cool. Or use your phone. I did have a running list in my phone one time and it said like January, I signed these people, February, I signed these people, whatever works for you right now. It doesn't mean you always have to do it that way, but just don't lose track of people because that's money in your pocket and it's your friends, that are on the product. So let's end here. Consistent activity is much more rewarding, but it does take discipline and accountability, right? Sometimes it's easier to like, I'm going to send out 100 messages today because I'm on edge, not on edge, but like the pill, like our edge. And I'm like gung ho and I'm excited and I'm going to send out 100 messages today. And then like you don't work your business for the rest of the month. Like obviously that's not healthy for you, but it's also not healthy for your business. Like to be able to train yourself to get into just a little rhythm of slow and steady wins the race. You don't have to be slow about it, but the steady is the part that you need. So it's not hard at all. Anybody can do this. So let's focus our efforts on prioritizing our activities to be the most effective with our time, because it's not really time management. Time's going to pass anyway. Time's going to pass when we're Netflixing or when we're playing with our kids or when we're at work. We have to manage our priorities. So if you make these high five a priority, there is no way that you will not see growth in your business. And how much activity and how much time you decide to spend on it is maybe how fast you'll go. But this will ensure growth in your business and ensure that you are happier and that your team is connected with you and that they don't feel left out and you don't feel like you don't know what to do, because that's never a fun place to be. So I hope tonight was helpful for you. Like I said, all of that stuff is up on the team page. You guys help each other out, like show what you're doing, what works for you, ask for troubleshooting help. If you're like, I'm trying to get organized, but I don't know what to do with this. That's what we're all here for. We're here to learn together and grow together. So everyone listen with a big old high five. High five. All right. Share this with any of your new team members who are like, how do you even work this business? What is it even? So that they can get a good little overview of just some of the basics of what to do every day to grow their business. I love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful night. And tomorrow is Wednesday, hump day. Have a good one.